Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 64 of the Video Games Ahoy Podcast!
Woo! Yay!
I'm your host, Jonathan Radford, and today I'm joined by Dav Weeks.
Hello!
It's Dav Weeks. How are you doing, Dav Weeks?
I'm all good.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I'm man, it's glad to see you. We weren't here last week, sadly. I was a really busy boy. Apatis, how are you doing? It's a long time since we've spoken to you. How are you doing? Yeah. Let us know. But yeah, it was really sad last week. I was a really busy boy. We were supposed to do it last Thursday, and I got home so late. And I think like reality is starting to hit me again, where I'm working pretty much as I used to. So like, and I'm obviously grateful to still have work. But yeah, time. Lose so much of it.
Yeah.
But yes.
We were blessed with lockdown in a weird way.
Honestly,
we had time to dedicate to everything.
So much time. Like actually, it's bizarre now and I'm so used to living at home as well. Like that's the thing. So now I have to leave the house. I'm like, what? Like this is crazy. Like leaving the house like 4 days a week instead of just waking up, just having my breakfast and then just chilling out until I start work at like 10. It's mad. But like I said, I'm really grateful, and we are here, which is a Wednesday, which is not a Thursday. But again, it's because I'm working late tomorrow. But there we are. Let's leave it there. Dav, should we talk about the podcast?
Yes, please.
With Video Games Ahoy. That's it.
That's it.
You find us on YouTube, Patreon, all the podcast places, like Deezer, the famous Deezer, iHeartRadio.
The infamous iHeartRadio.
Yeah, just loads of places. We're all over the place, and you know what? I say this every week. So if this is your first time watching us or listening to us, then where have you been? That's all I'll say. No.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, exactly. No, but you can check out all our podcasts and stuff. We've got, I think, like I said, episode 64, which is mad. We've got loads of cool stuff over on our Patreon page. There's the Hall of Fame, which we're going to do another one soon. That's always fun, especially when it's controversial. And we haven't had a controversial one for a while. Maybe we need to like brew something up.
I'm going to pick someone really controversial now that you've said that.
Just spite pick now. It's like, I don't want that in, even if it is good enough to be in there. I don't want it.
Royal people there.
Exactly. So yeah, maybe we'll do one of those soon. The live one was good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was really good. I really enjoyed everyone getting involved. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Dav, should we just get into the news?
Yes, please.
Right. So I'm very aware that me and Dav Weeks are the main people to speak to when it comes to Pokemon.
You came to the right podcast for this one.
What I've realised is that the two people that actually know what they're talking about are not here today. And if they do listen to this podcast, they're going to... I can just imagine like fists being held to the air. Just like, shake harder, boy! Like just so much anger about how much we're going to butcher the world of Pokemon. But I will try my best, because I did watch the Pokemon Direct earlier. And do you know what? I enjoyed it.
What did you learn?
Yeah, well, so wasn't really much new. I've got a couple of... obviously, I'll go through the things that they announced. So Pokemon Unite is going to come out on mobile devices on the 22nd of September. I haven't tried it on the Switch. Honestly, I haven't really played my Switch in a while, which is blasphemy. Apart from Skyward Sword. It's been a while. So yeah, I haven't tried that out. I don't know if Dav has. He's most likely to. Or, well, he is the most likely to, because Zach doesn't have a Switch. Yes. So if Dav hasn't played it, then none of us have played it. But from what I've read, it's fine. But yeah, it's coming to mobile 22nd of September, which is great for anyone that wants to try that out and doesn't want to use their Switch. Perfect. Not much more to say about that. It looks fine. Again, just fine.
So we put that on like the on the page for the downloads.
Yeah,
John Radford. It's fine. Video Games Ahoy say
the review.
Fine.
It's fine. It's okay, I guess. But you know, again, I'm not a Pokemon fan. So I'm just trying to appreciate it from the outside. Speaking of appreciating something from the outside, this is a game I've not played before, and again, I'm not a massive fan of. It's not that I'm a massive fan. Let me deep dive this for a sec. It's just. I didn't play any of the games past Yellow. Apart from Pokemon Stadium and Snap, like those games I played more than the actual games themselves, which is mad. So it's not that I don't like them. It's just I haven't really played them. So but Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they look really good. It kind of reminds me. The graphics kind of remind me of Link's Awakening on the Switch. Did you ever play that, Dev?
Link's Awakening, I haven't played it. Hoy has completed it.
Oh, man.
And it's going to be the next on my list.
You really, honestly, I think the music from that, I love how I'm talking about Pokemon. I'm already talking about Zelda. It doesn't take me long. But the music, it's so good. It's so good. And, to be fair, let's park that for a sec. You will really enjoy that, and I can't wait for you to play it.
I know I will.
But
I already know I will.
But yeah, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, the way I describe it is, because I was texting my brother at the same time, because he's a big Pokemon fan, and he was like, yeah, I'm really excited for this. And I was like, I'm excited for you, but I'm probably not going to buy it myself. I'm not personally interested in this product. But that's fine. That's fine. Games aren't for everyone, which is totally fine. It looks really nice. It just reminded me of Link's Awakening in the style, which is not a problem at all, because I love that style. Just looks really good, and for all the Pokemon fans, they're going to be happy. I think the one they're probably going to be more excited about, and the one I'm actually a bit excited about, is Pokemon Legends Arceus. Yes. Now, I did. So I don't. You said you haven't seen it today, have you?
No, I'm still going off that initial launch trailer.
So the initial launch trailer didn't look great. I'll be honest. Again, and I'm not overly criticizing it. It didn't look great. I think most people would say it didn't look great.
I'll be honest. I disagree. I really like the look of it. I was like, ooh, this is an interesting revelation and a twist on Pokemon that I can absolutely get on board with.
I agree with that. I meant more actual looks. Aesthetically, it looked a bit rough, and it looked a lot better today. It looked a lot better, but the resolution still doesn't look great. It still looks like it's I don't know what it is. Maybe it's not being optimized brilliantly. I mean, there's still another 6 months until it comes out, so it could be even better again. But it does look, I don't know, it looks beautiful in the sense that the art style looks really great, and I'm really loving the way the game itself looks. It looks really fun. And in fact, when I sat there and I was like, you know what, I'm definitely going to buy this. In contrast to Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, which I wasn't bothered with, this looks like something that's really cool. I'm really excited to try this. It looks at maybe not the most polished game, but I guess we've come to expect that with Game Freak. And also the Switch as well. I think sometimes we forget that the Switch is it was being made in 2015, 2016, and it came out in 2017. So the hardware is 5 years old now. It's not particularly young anymore. So when you're getting these games that are looking like maybe late era PS3, early era PS4 games, it just starts jarring a bit, especially because you've got stuff like the PS5. That being said, I'm really excited for it. It looks great. I know Dav Gape is very, very excited. He said a couple of things which I'll leave him expand on next week. He did say the Pokemon was shit. I'll leave Dav Gape say that. He didn't say that. God, when he hears that, or if he hears that, he's going to come at me. But yeah, come at me, bro. What else was there? There was Pokemon Home support coming for Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, as well as Pokemon Legends Arceus. So anyone that wants to use Pokemon Home, that's coming out in 2022 as well. I think the thing that really excites me about Legends Arceus is it comes out in January. Which, and honestly, I think we've had this conversation recently. 2022, for not for reasons that were planned. Many reasons were just because of COVID. There's so much happening next year, and it's kickstarted with a massive Pokemon game, which I'm really excited about. And I can't say that about any Pokemon game in a long time. Oh, not a long time. But yeah, that was it. Let's move on. Let's move on to Indie World. Dav, did you see the Indie World last week?
No, Jonny, you forget. I come to VGA to get my news from you. News.
Right, sorry, I do apologise.
This is my favourite outlet that I go to get my news.
Right, okay, I understand that.
This is a podcast, but also a Dav Reacts 2 video.
Dav Reacts 2 news.
To video game news.
Yeah, to Dav Reacts.
Basically
I like that. Dav Reacts to Jonny talking nonsense, but also the news. No, it's totally fine.
We'll just have a thumbnail of me going, "Ooh." There we go.
Just the news. That's it. Just ooh. But yeah, so the Indie World was last week, and I actually really enjoyed it. There was a couple of games I really, really liked the look of. So there's Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, which is, oh my goodness, the name of the game has gone out of my head. It was on the Dreamcast. What was it called?
Yes, Jet Set Radio.
That's the one, Jet Set Radio. It looks great. It looks really good. I'm really excited for it.
So, can you clarify? Is it just a new Jet Set Radio, or is it just something so heavily inspired by it that it borderlines plagiarism?
So, it's definitely inspired by it. I don't know how... I think I can't remember the guy's name. The guy who made the music for the original Jet Set Radio is involved with this. I don't know how many more people are involved with it, but it looks great. The fact that it's an indie game as well. You see stuff like that now, and you go, "Man, this just could be a game." Like indie games are starting to lose. It's not. It's the name indie is starting to lose its title in a way. It's starting to like merge slightly because you see stuff, and it could legitimately be first party, and it looks great. It looks really, really good. Axiom Verge 2. I don't know did you ever play Axiom Verge 1?
No.
I didn't play it either, but a lot of people really enjoyed it. Really, really enjoyed Axiom Verge 1. So Axiom Verge 2, look, I think it actually dropped that day as well. A lot of people played it. A lot of people really enjoyed it from what I've seen. So that's great.
Good.
Eastwood by Chucklefish. I actually really like the look of this game. Chucklefish did Wargroove, I believe, and Wargroove is a lot of fun. Dav Cape would definitely approve. I know he approves because he actually recommended me playing Wargroove because I love Fire Emblem. But it looks really good. Eastwood, it looks really interesting. Dav, I definitely say you should check that out.
Yeah, I think I will.
I'm not going to run through all of the games. I'm just going to run through the ones that I really like the look of. Metal Slug Tactics. Now that actually looks great. That actually does look like not Fire Emblem, but like obviously the tactical SRPG, that kind of stuff. It looks really good. It looks really good. I'm probably going to grab that. Tetris Effect Connected. I remember Dav Gape playing that around about Christmas time, and he had about 50 people watching his mind, just being like, "What the hell?" There was so much happening. It looks amazing. Genuinely looks amazing. Boyfriend Dungeon.
Yes. That's an interesting.
That's out. That's out now. I know a lot of people playing it.
It's on Game Pass, I'm pretty sure.
It is, I think. I actually think it is on Game Pass. There's a couple of other ones. Slime Rancher, 100 Days, Gang Beast, Lumberjack, which I fairly should... Lumberjack.
Lumberjack.
Because you are a bear.
It's a game with a pun in the title. I'm already...
This could be a 1 out of 10, but it's already a 2 out of 10 purely because of the name. It could be absolute garbage, but I'll appreciate the name.
There we go.
But yeah, there were a load of games. This is from last week as well, so like I've probably forgotten half of them already. I have forgotten half of them already. But the ones that stuck with me, I'm really, really excited for a couple of those. Like I said, Metal Slug Tactics, Axiom Verge 2 I might pick up, Eastwood, and particularly Bumfush Cyberpunk. Looks pretty good. Yeah. Let's move on to some Xbox news. I think we've only got Xbox news now until the end, because I'm an Xbox shill now that I have a Series X. So the next one is Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is getting, as I believe it's got a massive upgrade for the Series S and the Series X, up to 4K, I believe, on the Series X with 60 frames per second. I haven't actually played that game. So
FG will be happy about that.
He's very happy about that, but like I'm really excited. I downloaded it straight away because I was like, haven't played this before. It looks great. I know Dav has spoken loads about how good the game is, and it's
one of his favorites.
Yeah, and it's only about 10 hours as well, like from start to finish, which is not particularly long. So I'm playing a game at the moment which is going to take me not even days. Why did I say? I meant days as in like the actual hours in a day, because it's a long time. But yeah, I'll talk about the game I'm playing later. But yeah, it looks really beautiful, really, really beautiful. I'm kind of excited to give it a go. Finally, last bit of Xbox news, and that is it with the news. Very short news this week. Game Pass. I'm just going to read out some of the games that are coming out on Game Pass. Humankind, Need for Speed Heat, Star Wars Battlefront 2, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which I'm actually really impressed by. I didn't realize that was going to be out. Have you played Jedi Fallen Order yet, Dav?
A smidge, yeah, not much.
Okay, I think I spoke about it. I definitely spoke about it on the podcast because me and Dav had he loves the game and I liked it, but I wasn't a fan of the combat, which is funny because that's what a lot of people loved. Just wasn't for me.
No, fair enough.
It didn't feel. Do you know, like when I said this before, but do you know, like when you hold lightsaber, obviously.
Obviously.
But you know, like it feels. It just, you think it has power. You think like you hold a lightsaber and it has this like magnificent power, and it just never felt like that. It felt like it was just any ordinary sword, and that kind of disappointed me. Like with great lightsaber comes great responsibility. Okay?
And great vocal sound effects.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, I definitely recommend you playing it though. I've really enjoyed it. The story's great. And it looks great as well. Recompile Train Sim World 2. Not number 1, number 2. 12 minutes. Now 12 minutes is the really interesting one. That's the one with like the massive Hollywood cast. I don't know if you saw this. I think James McAvoy's in it. And it's like you're looking down on these two people and they're interacting. I can't remember exactly what happens, but like definitely look it up. It looks really interesting. And it's just got some really good reviews because I think the reviews have just come out today. So check that out. I know Davgape is going to be very excited about Psychonauts 2.
Yes.
I've heard good things again. Do I need to play Train Sim 1 to understand the plot? Probably.
Well, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Probably.
No
I would say you probably do. There's a lot of things you need to track with the story.
Way!
And that's the end of the podcast. There we go. Where were we? Psychonauts 2. Yeah, I know Davgape is really excited about that one. And Myst. Did you ever play Myst?
Yes.
That's coming to Game Pass as well. August 26th. 26th.
I don't think there's really much for Myst in today's video game climate, to be honest.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, Myst was just kind of like a rather slow storybook type game with pretty digitally creative pictures, which by today's standards are probably terrible.
Well, I was just going to say, like, everything you said up until the end sounded like the perfect Dav Wheats game. Because I just, give me content.
Why do you think I've played it?
Exactly.
But I played it about 15 years ago.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, okay. Well, that is the end of the news. Dav, do you have any news with regards to any video game? Because I know you come here for the news.
I come here for the news.
But do you have any news? Is there anything that you've picked up that I might have missed?
I have not brought any news with me.
Do you know what? I'm going to bring some news that I had written down, but I got rid of it last week because there wasn't any like concrete news about it. But there's been more news since, and we'll have a little chat. Just not for long.
Alright.
Apparently, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas are being remade in the Unreal Engine and coming on the Switch, as well as all the other consoles. The reason why I mentioned the Switch is because if I was going to pick it up, I probably would be on the Switch because I just feels like I've completed those games before. I don't mind playing them on the handheld to have the option of it. And I can't. Well, maybe it will be in 4K, and maybe it will be in 60 frames per second. But who knows? The thing I was going to ask you is, are you going to buy them? Would you be interested in buying them if they like bring in, I guess, modernize a lot of it, especially like the controls and stuff? Because I replayed San Andreas a couple of years ago, and it didn't handle amazingly well by modern standards, and I imagine 3 is even worse.
3 is probably really... I mean, I remember struggling to play 3...
when it came out.
We were in the era of playing those games.
Yeah.
So I didn't give 3 much attention for that reason. Yeah. And also it was very grey.
Yeah, it was very
grey. It didn't do much for me. Vice City, meanwhile, oh my god, that is still, for me, the pinnacle of GTA until we got to GTA 5.
Well, it's interesting because like a lot of people they really go back and forth between San Andreas and Vice City. I was more of a San Andreas guy, just because I really loved there was lots I loved about that. But I completely understand Vice City. Like it really was a magnificent game for its time. Like when you compare it to 3 as well, the leap that it made...
Oh, it's a huge leap.
In 1 year as well. Like, 3 was incredible, like, for what it did at the time, but, like, when you consider that Vice City was a year later, and the amount of things that it added in, like, story content, like, voice acting, it was incredible. Legitimately incredible.
GTA 3 just kind of feels a bit like a tech demo in comparison.
It does now, and then when you see San Andreas as well, like it, it definitely feels like a no. But do you know what? I am really excited about this. I put this in the group the other day, just because I really want to go back and play those old games, but like with updated handling better.
It's the quality of life and handling things that it needs, because I have Vice City on my PS4 downloaded.
I got San Andreas.
And it's hard to play.
It is hard to play.
It's hard to play.
I got Vice City on my mobile as well, and that's even worse.
Oh god!
I bought it because I was like, I was like, oh, maybe this will be good. I was like, maybe I'm just really stupid and I shouldn't have done it anyway. But I'm really intrigued, and the amount of stories that I've heard and the amount of people saying it's happening makes me think that it absolutely is happening. And it could be out this year, which
could be great.
And do you know what? See, the worst part of it all is that when GTA 5 comes out for the billionth time, and goes straight to the top of the charts for being on the PS5 and the Xbox Series X, I am really tempted to replay that game again, because I probably haven't played it since 2015. I did used to really love that game. To be fair, I really did used to love that game, and I really enjoyed the story. But anyway, that's I kind of wanted to just drop that GTA news in, because I thought it'd be really interesting. Dav, do you have any games that you've been playing?
So the two I've been playing this week are two that we talked about before. In fact, the first one, Obra Dinn.
Oh yes,
I'm still getting through it.
Yeah,
I've basically kind of found all the dead bodies on this ship, and now it's just a question of trying to work out who the fuck each one of them is. And that is going to be hard and tedious.
Right.
But I'll plow on through.
I can't remember.
See how I do.
Which console did you say you're playing at? Was it the Switch?
Switch.
I imagine that's a good game to have on the Switch, just because picking it up and walking away and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's really good to have on the Switch. Also, just some of these bloody death tableaus are brilliant. I love them.
Yeah.
Just what the fuck is that? Because there's never context. There's never context. You just kind of, it's a freeze frame of when somebody on the ship died, and you just kind of walk. It just emerges, and you kind of go, "What? What the fuck's going on?" It's like walking into a party, and it's like a Harlem Shake moment.
Right. Is it? Would you Are you enjoying it more? Are you enjoying it less? How do you feel about the game now?
I've definitely done the fun bit.
Right, okay.
I've definitely done the fun bit of finding every tableau and every kind of death. The rest of it now just feels like the hard bits of a Sudoku.
Right.
Now it's kind of like you've done the easy crossword questions, and now you've got the really tricky cryptic ones, and you don't really get cryptics, and you're like, so. We'll see how many more I actually manage to get before I resort to grabbing a walkthrough.
See, that's the thing. For me, I've got no patience, man. I've got no patience. Well, this is a really bad thing. I just got no patience. So I would appreciate it for about half an hour. This what happened with Dark Souls. I appreciated it. I played it for about half an hour. Not Dark Souls. What's it called? PS4 game that's not Dark Souls. It's the Bloodborne. Played it for about half an hour. Appreciated that you have to get good, and I was like, I'm just not going to get good because I don't have the patience to do it. But it says, that did really intrigue me though. When I saw that before, when you spoke about it last week, it was like, oh yeah, I remember that game. So I'm really intrigued to see what happens when you beat the game. What kind of how you feel about it, whether it changes.
Yeah, of course.
What was the other game, Dav?
Bowser's Fury.
Oh, yay! How'd you find it? How catchy is that music when you're on the what essentially is a Lapras?
Yes, the dopey Lapras.
Yeah.
I've forgotten its name.
Yeah, Jesse, something like that.
Jesse.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it begins with a J.
I love it. It's fun, and I just found the propeller boxes again from 3D World, and I was like, them and the little ice skating boots. And I remember when Hoy and I were playing 2-player 3D World, and then we had the propeller box. We jumped in the ice skating boot and just giggled at how stupid this was. And then, there is some Bowser's Fury. We can do it again. All right. It's still really satisfying beating up Bowser. It feels good.
Oh man, it does feel good, doesn't it? And
it does feel good to bash him with a big cat paw.
And the really interesting thing about Bowser's Fury is it did, you mentioned earlier tech demo. It doesn't necessarily feel like a tech demo, but it does feel like a trial of sorts to see how a big open world Mario would work. And there's a part of me that feels like it kind of does work. I'm not saying that they should go out and make an open world Mario game, because that feels like for a lot of companies just oh yes, let's make an open world something. That's always the end goal. But it does work surprisingly well, going from little areas, because you can see stuff in the distance to go, I got to go over there and get this in the exact same way. Open world games do it well. I did really enjoy that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to see a Mario open, because there's something really charming about Mario kind of being the fish out of water and going from one place to another and it being completely different and completely bonkers. And if you just create a Mushroom Kingdom, I think you'll lose that.
I think that's a really good point. There is a part of me, like I said, I really want to see it, but also you make a really valid point with that. I think. Who knows? It's still. I still really enjoyed it. Are you enjoying it at least?
Oh, I'm enjoing it. Yeah, it's a Mario platformer. Of course, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
There's. The only thing I could say is that maybe it just doesn't have the ambition of Odyssey or anything like that. But I don't think it was ever designed to have that.
No, I don't think so either.
As a bit of an add-on to 3D World on the Switch.
And do you know what? I actually really appreciate the fact that it is just an add-on to 3D World on the Switch, because they didn't have to make it. They've proved time and time again they're more than willing to just chuck something on the Switch from the Wii U and barely do anything to it. Mario Kart. There's a couple of extra characters, a refined battle mode, and that's pretty much all the DLC from the Wii U, and that was pretty much it. The fact that they actually went into making a game which takes about 5 to 10 hours to beat, on top of the game they already made, which didn't sell particularly well before. I had no issues buying that game. It helped because I hadn't played the Wii U version, but absolutely. Purely for Bowser's Fury, I was like, you know what, this is great. I actually really enjoyed the game in general, both games. I had a great time. Both had a really great time. Anything else, Dav? I know I kind of jumped on your old Mario 3D World then, but I just really enjoyed it. It just brought back a lot of memories.
You say you're giving Nintendo compliments here, and I just have to slide in and slap them a little bit because of Mario Party's superstar thing. There's an example of a game where they are very reluctant to give you additional stuff for free and decide to release a whole other game at full price to make a barely functional game an actual game.
That game, that should be DLC.
Yeah,
it should be DLC.
Still livid. I think this is the third time I've brought it up on this podcast. I'm still livid. I did have a little play of the new Donk City Mario Golf level.
Oh yeah, how is it?
Before flogging it.
Oh yeah, of course, you sold it.
I sold it.
Yeah.
But basically, I was like, okay, I'll hold it for a little bit longer and then I'll get rid of it, just so I can play as Toadette.
Well, do you know what it makes me really sad that this, because me and you have the same thing. We have N64 nostalgia. That is where me and you played a lot of our old games, our first real games, and it does make me sad that the golf isn't as good as the golf from that console, because that was banging.
Yeah, it just isn't. The new Donk City level is all right.
Yeah.
But because of the nature, the geography of it, basically you're going from one skyscraper to the next for most of the holes, and everything's a par 3.
Yeah.
So there's not really much variety. It's basically, can you get onto this floating platform? Is essentially the game.
Right.
So it's not a great one.
I guess it's interesting because a lot of people really want to revisit New Donk City, and who doesn't? That was my favourite level from Odyssey. I loved that.
I mean, it's iconic.
Yeah.
Now, and it's just wow.
Yeah. I've been trying to get Rosie to see if she's willing to play Jump Up Superstar at the wedding next year. I really hope that. So hopefully that'll make an appearance because it's a banging tune as well.
It's a banger.
And yeah, that's it. Anything else, Dav? Anything else you want to add about your Marios?
No, I'll leave it there.
Oberdins. I'm just going to quickly mention a game that I am playing, and then So I'm playing The Witcher 2, right?
Ooh,
so what's really interesting is The Witcher 3 is getting a Series X and a PS5 upgrade later this year. So I was like, I am probably going to replay that because I love The Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of all time. Do you know, like when you finish a game, there's not many games that I've finished where like I sit there after I've just beaten it and gone, wow. Like I have a moment of like reflection about what an experience was, almost to the point where like I hate finishing the game itself. Like I'm reluctant to finish it. There's only a couple of games that have really done that for me. That was the Mass Effect trilogy, The Witcher 3 and Breath of the Wild. And Red Dead Redemption 2, actually. I'd say those 4 games mainly. But like The Witcher 3 was definitely one of them. When I completed that game, it took me like 100 plus hours. I was just floored, man. So as soon as I realized the Series X, which is amazing, by the way, one thing I really, really want to give Xbox and Microsoft like serious props for is the fact that you can play games from like the Xbox 360 era. So like I went to CEX and bought a copy of The Witcher 2 for 15 quid. Like... And I'm playing it. Like, as I'm playing the CD from the 360, and it works. And you're just like, it makes me sad that PS5 can barely do like one generation back, let alone like the PS3. And like the Series X plays Xbox games, let alone 360 games.
That is so good.
You know, not all of them, obviously, but anyway. So as soon as I figured that out, there was a couple of games that I realized I haven't actually completed, or I've never got around to, or I just want to replay again. Like I want to replay Red Dead Redemption 1 because like you can buy it for like 8 quid from CEX. So I'm like, I'll buy that because why not? And there's what other game did I want to get? GTA 4 actually, because I never actually finished GTA 4. But again, you can't buy it on the PlayStation Network. You can only, for me, the only access I've got to it is my computer or the Series X. So the fact that it has that options, it's just so good. I love it. I genuinely love it for that. Anyway, with regards to The Witcher 2, it's really interesting because, like, this sounds really weird, but The Witcher 3, I don't know if you've ever played The Witcher 3. Did you ever play it? It's
not really,
no.
no.
It's fairly open world for the most part. Like, there's you basically land in an area and then it's pretty much open world, but then you go to another area and it's, like, really open world. Like, and it feels like a massive open world game that you just travel in between locations. Whereas The Witcher 2 feels way more linear. It feels more like a Mass Effect type linear experience than anything else. It feels more like that than The Witcher 3 kind of was compared to like Skyrim. Whereas The Witcher 2 is really nothing like Skyrim at all, from my perspective. Oh. You have the RPG elements where you can put stuff on, but like it feels more like a proper story narrative driven game, and I'm really enjoying it. It's a bit clunky, as any game is that's like 10 years old.
Well, yeah.
But it's still really good, and I'm really enjoying it. And I'll probably talk about it a bit more when I finish it. But I have got one game I'm planning on playing this week, which I don't know how long that's going to take me. That's Ghost of Tsushima. The DLC is coming. The DLC is coming out this Friday, and I really want to play it. They've released a new trailer. Oh man, check out the trailer! It looks amazing. They released a new trailer today, actually, and it just looks gorgeous. That game is beautiful. So yeah, that's probably what I'm going to play soon. But yeah, I'm really enjoying The Witcher 2. There's no real way of me playing The Witcher 1 without playing it on my computer, and I just don't want to play games on my computer because I get distracted. But yeah, I'm going to leave it there. But Dav, before we go, we've got five minutes left, and I realized today was going to be a short one. So you know what? I brought a question, and I got a question for you. Okay, Ooh. So I'm going to give you 5. I'm going to I want you to think about it. What do you think are the 5 best N64 games?
The 5 best N64 games.
In Dav Weeks' opinion.
Okay.
Because I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, I've got my N64 here, and I've got most of my games, and I was like, that was the generation that defined me for gaming. Like, N64, that was, and I know you're very similar, so I actually thought about you, and I was like, you know what, let's have Weeks' question. But yeah, what would you say are the 5 greatest N64 games?
Right. Greatest is going to be an interesting one because the greatest is like the impact they've had on me probably as well, more than if they're the best game.
I think that's fair. Yeah, let's go with that. Dav Weeks' best N64 games. Let's go with that definition.
Right. We're going to go with Conker's Bad Fur Day.
I knew that was going to be in there.
Of course it's going to be in there.
That's number 1 to 5, isn't it? That's in all of the top 5 positions. We're going from...
It is, I think, very much a defining 3D platform adventure from that era. Like, it is both like the best example of it and a parody of it at the same time. Yeah. And it's brilliant. Everything about it is just top tier, and with some of the best multiplayer stuff you can do on the N64, with all the movie references of like movies that I absolutely adore. It's basically like in the writing room they said there's this guy called Dav, we should probably make sure there's stuff in there for him.
the Xbox just gave out Conker's, it's not Conker's Bad Fur Day, it's like Conker Reloaded, which is like the Xbox remake. So I am very tempted to play that because I saw that. I actually thought of you as like, okay, I'll be in there. Okay,
I'd love to play that.
You don't have to rank them, by the way. Let's just listless. These are bullet points rather than than numbered.
I will change those rankings in my head as we go.
Okay.
So we've definitely got Conker's Bad Fur Day.
Conker's Bad Fur Day is in there.
Ocarina of Time obviously has to go in there.
Yeah, is there much that needs to be said about that?
No, not.
I think
we've probably dedicated about 20% of every minute of this the history of this podcast to Zelda.
Yeah,
so
and that's 19% of that is me. 19 of that percent is me.
You know, that's not hyperbole. We talk about it a lot.
We do,
but yeah, I mean It's the first Zelda game I played, I think, and it was just like...
It was mine as well.
It's a whole thing, isn't it? It's just a whole thing.
I think often we talk about how Mario went from the 2D platformer to 3D Mario, but I don't think it gets spoken about how Zelda went from Link to the Past, which is a brilliant game, phenomenal game, to Ocarina of Time. Purely just from a even if it follows a very similar path story wise, just graphically, it's one hell of a leap, and they smashed it. Yeah. Even now, it's just you can go back and play that game. But yeah, so Ocarina of Time, Conker's Bad Fur Day, that they're in Dab Weeks' top 5.
Right. Another. I'm going to put in Mario Golf. It's the only sport game I've ever loved. Literally the only sport game I've ever loved.
The power of Nintendo makes Dab Weeks love sports.
Yeah, I'll go with that. From Mario Golf.
Yeah.
I think the only other sport game I had on the N64 was like Nagano Winter Olympics 1998. Which was terrible, but I played it to death.
Did you play Mario Tennis?
No.
That was good. Mario Tennis is really good, actually. Right? Yeah, okay, it was pretty good. Enough. It's pretty good. So we've got Conker's Bad Fur Day, we've got Mario Golf, we've got Ocarina of Time. We've got two slots left for Dab Weeks' greatest N64 games.
Oh, God. I'm going to regret something. There's going to be something that's going to jump out and regret it, but I'm going to check in Lilac Wars.
Do you know what? That is actually a really good shout. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
That was lovely. That was, again, just really fun.
And they haven't really bettered it since.
No, they haven't.
Is what a lot of people would say. Probably Zach, actually, if he was here, would probably say they haven't bettered it since. Which is a real shame.
Yeah, it's good fun. I mean, I don't know if it's just a game of its time, because, it's like a rail shooter. It's, it's a very specific genre, and it's hard to innovate it, I suppose. It's a bit dated, but I don't know. It's a fun one.
Yeah, agreed.
Right, and my wild card's last entry into this top 5, Blast Corps.
Blast Corps! I love that game. I actually loved that game. I just thought it was so random. Like, stop this nuclear bomb from going off in these towns, in these cities.
By destroying the towns.
By destroying the towns. Like, just... I actually played it the other day. I gave it a go the other day because it's on Series X. Oh, not on Game Pass.
No way.
Yeah. And I was like, this is just giving me so much nostalgia right now. So much nostalgia.
Oh, there we go.
There. Also, Rare. Again.
Rare.
Which is ridiculous.
For those who don't know what Blast Corps was, It's a genre-defined game. It's not in a genre. It's its own beast, which makes no sense, where you are some kind of international rescue type organization. Right, and then imagine the film Speed, where there's like a nuclear bomb that can't stop driving through a town.
Yeah.
You have to clear the path to make sure it doesn't hit anything.
Yep.
And that in basically involves you going into a variety of fun, exciting, and very cumbersome vehicles to try and destroy those buildings.
Yep.
It's the most stupid concept. It's fun blowing things up, and it's fun doing them in clunky vehicles.
Do you know what? If this was like a review from Dav Weeks, this is the headline I would write. So you'd write your thing, and it's a stupid concept, ... but it works. How? We don't know. We don't know, but it does.
Somersaulting Gundam suit is probably the best vehicle.
I kind of really just enjoy the bulldozer. Just because just simplicity. Sometimes it's
the dump
simple.
truck that only really works when you do handbrake turns.
Handbrake turns, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, that's quite fun.
Dav, so is that your final 5? Do you want any suggestions, or are you not taking suggestions?
Oh, go on, give me a suggestion.
I was just wondering. There's 2 games, and one game in particular I know that you might kick yourself over is Goldeneye.
Oh,
do you know what we'll do is we'll add an extra 2 which we can add in and out as we please. So I'd say maybe Goldeneye and maybe Super Mario Bros. Super Mario 64. But you know what?
I think maybe I should chuck Ocarina of Time in there. Basically, those are a given.
Yeah, let's go with I like that. Let's chuck Ocarina of Time out. Goldeneye, Super Mario 64, and Ocarina of Time.
Like, basically, there's no entertainment value in including them in the list. Because
they should be there.
Of course they're there.
Okay.
They just are on a little god tier that hovers above.
Interesting then, which means you actually have an extra slot available if we're going to chuck Ocarina of Time out.
An extra slot for an extra little Nintendo game.
I really enjoy how much you enjoyed that then. That was the best.
That is tricky. Do I put Nagano 98 in there? Oh, wow. Okay. It's cat among pigeons now. Got me thinking. Perfect Dark.
Done.
There we go. Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark.
Because which is GoldenEye but better, let's be honest.
Not controversial. I agree as well. I love GoldenEye. Perfect Dark is better. Just better.
Yeah. And there's no... And that is kind of objective. Sorry, everyone. That is objective because it basically is GoldenEye after they've done it. And what could we do better next time? And then they make Perfect Dark.
Yeah, pretty much. They pretty much masked everything they took from GoldenEye. They were like, okay, let's just make everything better. And again, played it on the Series X the other day because it's on Game Pass, because it's on Rare Replay, and I love it, man. Honestly, really, it's still great. It still holds up really well. It's still a bit cheesy,
that can shoot through walls.
It's amazing. Who doesn't love that?
That's great. The heat vision sniper gun is brilliant, and the wisecracking alien is also a delight.
Yeah, Elvis.
Yeah,
Elvis. There we go. Dav, that's it. That's how we end. We end with Dav Weeks' top 5 favorite N64 games that aren't GoldenEye, Ocarina of Time, or Mario 64. That's really. I think that's catchy. I think that title will catch on. Yeah. That is also the end of podcast number 64. Thank you very much for listening today. If you enjoy the show, then please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Patreon, I guess, as well. All the places. Find us everywhere. Listen to us. Listen to the old episodes. That whole thing you've heard a million times over. Dav Gape is streaming over on DaviG, so check him out. I don't think anyone else is at the moment. I'm a busy bee, so the podcasts are kind of like where I just want to make sure I'm in there. Dav, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure and a joy talking about N64 games to wrap this episode up.
Absolutely.
So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you soon.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!